Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am truly excited to get started again today. Brothers and sisters, today is a day for history. Today will be a day unlike others, at least in the bigger stage. But what will today be like for us? Well, We'll find out together. Thank you to all who may tune in or join, whether you're live or later on a whatever platform, even if it's restreamed. Thank you. I hope you find some peace and encouragement with our time together, because we live in uncertain times. There's no denying that. And today we're having a little fun with the day. Talcott Tuesday, starting early time, and blessings sincerely. I know I am a couple hours early, and then it was look at the clock, it says 12:21. I'm like, why not? Well, let's get this started. Let's see what happens today. Traditions built upon opinions, which is what election day really is. It's a tradition built for opinions. It can be very misleading, right? The best way to keep a man enslaved is to give him a vote. Tell him he's free. So there's a lot of people worrying, casting their ballots today. Oh my gosh, is my opinion going to be counted? Am I going to be able to get counted today? Do I matter? Or the other ones, oh, I pray my opinion wins. What the fuck is that? Excuse my language. Please. Afternoon to all of you. Blessings, greetings and blessings to you all. I am so grateful to be living this experience with you. What I've learned here, the last lesson from the description and the thumb and the post, do whatever is factually best. I said for the future, but do whatever is factually best for you in the present, because you only live right now. Today, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, right? The political stage, the economic stage, all of these stages has everyone in fear and fighting with each other. I honestly have not checked into the news today to see what's really going on with the pageantry. I did look on YouTube to see what was streaming earlier, and holy cows, lots of people paying attention to the ballots, lots of people paying attention to the polling. Oh, these numbers, they're adding up. Praise God. The future will reveal what the future reveals. There was a question asked yesterday, and I'll throw it out there. Did you vote, Jack? I did. I've been voting a long time. I used to participate in, encourage other people, get your voice heard. Vote. It matters. Participation matters. And it does. See, for those who withhold their opinions, their voices go unheard. Now, the world has been deceived in so many ways. It really has. And we've got to accept that fact, that the world has been deceived in many ways. And there's a lot of uncertainty going on right now. So how do you find stability for yourself and your family and what's around you? How do you find stability? Stop denying it. Settle, rest, right? In the background, that is something I brought up, I think. Um, Rest in the Lord. In the background of me, my words are offered with love. I promise I'm honest. My love is genuine. So in the background of me is love, and love is with me, and my encouragement to you for finding stability in uncertainty, rest in the Lord. You can only know the Lord of the universe in the present and through your mind and your heart. Your body is a vessel for you to have an intimate relationship with the creator of the universe. That creator of the universe is best expressed, experienced through love. Yesterday, I spoke about saints, right? The idea of saints, those people who have devoted themselves to God's love. What makes one holy is when love shines through, and all love is from God. The example of Jesus, it was for me and you to believe in, to believe that perfection and faith and miracles do exist, and to believe that we can walk through life with faith, with love. And God, who knows what God may reveal as far as miracles when more love and trust is shared. And praise God, man, when we start humbling ourselves to the fact we don't know the future, you don't know. Even the data and the polls, they don't really matter. It's all a game. It's a sham. We know the political. I hope you know. I hope you know the political uh, system is entirely corrupted and oppressive. What would corrupt and oppress children of God if not evil? Evil corrupts, evil oppresses, evil imprisons, evil denies, evil lies. Brothers and sisters, don't be evil, be good. You can only be good or anything in the present moment. Because right now, today is the day that you and I live. Whatever day it is, you're hearing these words today for me and us gathered. It's Selection Day in America. And the reason I went ahead and brought this into discussion, number one, it's happening. There's no point in ignoring the fact that there's consequences to everything that happens. And pretty soon, one of the one of the one of the better funded candidates, celebrities, Harris or Trump, is probably going to come out victor. Praise God. I kind of lost where I was taken with this. Did I? I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. That would have been a great idea to write myself in. um. Oh, hey, here's the point I want to get to, right? This thought is what I wrote down today. It's just simple, it's obvious. Today's theatrics and emotions and everyone's worry and all of this stuff, all of this shows mankind's insanity. People are literally nuts. However, God's goodness, God's goodness is more true than the insanity of mankind. Trust in that. Allow God's goodness to be found with you, for you. Be selfish with yourself in discovering God's goodness surrendering your worries, your problems, your fears, your contempt, your hate, your judgment. Surrender it to the heavenly ideas, God, Jesus. Place these worries and fears and problems. Take those to the heavens for the answers. The heavens will open when you allow your mind to stop fighting. Stop replacing God with all of your opinions and all of your thoughts, and stop going to opinions. Opinions are information, dude. So, anyone who's voting today, you're adding information. That's it. You know, the work is done. The future is going to be what it will be. But regardless of the candidate, brothers and sisters, if you hear my voice, I'd like you to join me. Regardless of the results of today and the selection theatrics, I'd love to have a conversation with the men and women serving in United States Congress today and the current administration, the candidates. I'd love to bring them all together. Let's have a come to Jesus moment about what it means to be a leader. There's a big difference between a leader and a boss. See, a boss gets controlled. A boss tries to control. We've got candidates fighting for control over you and me. And they're insane. Are you insane, or are you willing to give your mind and your life to God? Who would deny such an opportunity? Who would deny giving everything to gain everything? It all comes down to zero, to nothing. This thought, I know how it sounds, but the reality is that I've come to accept is we never were. We are not. We never will be. Because in the end, there is only the one that is. There is the one source of light and energy that creates the paradigms. Energy brings into form. It's all from nothing. And in the end, we'll return to the nothing that is. It's nothing beyond, because it's beyond our form and our concept, but it's the nothing that brings forth everything. We can call it time. We can call it anything we want.
Did you fall asleep in front of the never-ending story last night?
I don't think so.
You been shacking up with Truth or Cop on your bullshit?
I don't know.
Okay, so this is Antichrist BS. We are not nothing. We're created, if anything, and for God's pleasure, like all the living creatures of this planet. And you speak Antichrist contradictory rhetoric every day. And you got wrecked on Open Ocho.
You actually, golly geez, you make it so hard for me, challenging. But
I do, don't I?
You are fun and amazing, despite your bitterness.
I'm bitter at you. I'm not bitter at life. I'm bitter at people like you and your daddy that would slander you. You slander this election and government process as you say, that's the people I got to get in front of, though.
Right. Let's confront
contradiction.
No, Jesus would confront the problem. He wouldn't deny it or run away.
Jesus said, give unto Caesar what is his. Jesus didn't say, fix this shitbag world. He didn't say end wars. He didn't say fix the world.
Right. He left it up to us.
No, he did not. When I say he did not give this order to do, it means he did not say we had to do, nor appointed us to do. You are not a Christian. You are a name dropper of the Christ. Oh no, I am a Christian. All you motherfuckers that say I'm not have a harsh, harsh future in front of you.
All right. I'm here in the present.
How am I not? Now, why are you taking your daddy's?
Why don't you find peace in the present? Here's something I was going to point out, and actually put in the link. But for those who wish to share conversations with Jack, let's do it without fighting to be right and without the insults and the negativity. See, one of the ideas behind today, despite it being election day, and it has probably broken up families and friendships and all of the ideologues, it's time for us to accept the fact the results will be whatever the results are. And we can all deal with the results like adults. We don't need more violence in our communities. We don't need more separation. We have the opportunity today to create unity.
Is our poll your thumbnail person?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I think he gave himself away. I'm gonna truth or cop that. I'm not sold on you saying no. I'm gonna have to truth or cop into that.
Distrust keeps us divided, Tommy.
You are a distrustable person and you're a liar. Been proved. How can you prove me a liar? Nobody has yet. I've been wrong. I'm not a liar. Do you know the difference?
I do.
Then how do you not see you're a fucking liar? Okay, Jack, instead of hitting your little meme button, I'll whip up 5 videos at the time I desire that shows you're a liar. You can't do that to me. No one can.
Tom.
Imagine being in a panel verse where this is all recorded.
Tom, let's join in the present with
God. See, deflection. When was the... No, see, you're just wearing out your own nonsense. That doesn't mean anything.
Tom, I'm trying to have a conversation with you. Okay.
Like you did last night whenever I didn't boot you from my panel, you hypocrite fucking liar.
Despite the failure yesterday, I'm here attempting
You're
again.
A failure every day. Now, why do you buy into... Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. I've been successful with my life and my goals, and I'm not doing...
I'm going to pause this, Tom. Thank you. Welcome, 5-Speed. How you doing, brother? Are you there? Maybe I've made a poor choice.
Oh, you brought me back up because you need the content in 5.
No.
There we go.
5-Speed? Yeah. Welcome, brother.
Yes. How are you?
I'm feeling blessed. Were you joining with an idea, or did you notice what Tommy was doing?
Figured I'd come up and say hey to both of you, but you put him in the back, I guess, before I come in.
Well, I wanted to give you a chance. So
I think I'm lagging.
Yeah, there's something going on with your audio, I think.
That is fair, Jack. I need handicaps so everybody has a chance. add 3 strokes to my card and give everybody a chance.
You know what? As a union guy, I used to have fun with that. You know, they'd want to bring in extra managers for investigations and stuff like that. I'm like, fine.
Yeah.
Fucking bring in 5 or 6 of you. Pay all you guys. Waste your fucking money.
No, it's about workload and making sure they get the investigate. They don't need to be making the weekly schedule if they're there to investigate something. Don't
No,
you get it?
what
It's
I
delegating the workload.
no, what I mean is,
Dude, I was upper middle management hell. I will
um,
wreck you on this stuff.
no,
Yeah.
that's my point. They'd bring in multiple supervisors and managers, but you know what? God, it
Okay,
is
and
good.
that's
Let's
not a
get back
daddy,
to
is it?
today.
A
Let's get back
manager or
to today.
I'm going to take this into the voting thing, Jack. The managers and supervisors, that's not your daddy. It's not somebody that's raising a family. You need someone to run things. And with 50 United States, you can't just leave that to chaos. You
Right.
need to you need to delegate that the fiat where it's spent. Just because
Well,
our government's gotten
hold
corrupt
on,
doesn't mean
hold
the
on,
function of government is
hold
corrupt.
on, hold on, please, because you just brought in the key. This fiat stuff, it's a
It's just
lie.
this. No, it's not.
Here, I watched an interesting show the other day, and I'm not promoting it, but it was recommended to me. There's a guy who produced a documentary called Cowspiracy. It's kind of well known, and people have opinions about it one way or another, but it highlights some of the disgusting practices of the industrialized meat industry. So, Cowspiracy, I was familiar with. It was part of my development of myself and my choosing of my life. Well, I recently watched a new uh, production he did called Christ-spiracy. And it actually allowed me to connect a couple of dots. The message of this Christ-spiracy is the involvement of religion in the animal sacrifice, the the Holocaust conditions of livestock and animal production for consumption. It's not healthy. When we're consuming a diet from animals that have been just put in these atrocious living conditions, the poultry, the pigs, the factory, the industrialized meat production, Foster Farms, and all this other nonsense. These big corporations are mistreating the animals. The employees do not have healthy or good working conditions. And all of us who are going along, McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell, and then you go to the butcher, and every grocery's got all this selection of meat everywhere. As we're consuming this flesh that was sentient and was suffering and fearful right at the end, right? Because animals aren't stupid. They know when they're going to be butchered and slaughtered, just like a human being would. Maybe not when they lack the language to say, hey, fuck face, knock this off. What are you doing to me? But, brothers and sisters, here's the point. When we're participating in the brutalization of other species, we lose a care for life. And so the brutalization of animals into our diet, our daily consumption, it creates this speciesism where man is allegedly better than beast. But all of us who've had pets, we fucking, you know how amazing animals are, right? We all know this. So we can overcome. I'm not judging anyone for their diet, but I'm saying this is a reality we've come to. And so as you continue to consume, we've got to overcome this division mindset. It starts with speciesism, and then it's okay to sell black people, right? That was the ways of the world, and Chinese people and Irish people, and all these people get sold. You and I have been sold lies. It's this religion of money. It's a bunch of bullshit, and we know it. We've been sold a lot of lies, brothers and sisters. the religions and the states have worked together for the banking and the and the meat industry. It makes sense, man. It makes sense to me.
They're out here selling lies, and you're just giving them away for free.
Which part?
Oh, well, you kept me in the backstage and rambled on for so long. You went from corporate farming to selling black people. Where you
I
want to
did.
pick it up?
It's all tied together.
I agree that corporate farming is horrible. I'll eat animals till the day I die. And just because you see butcher meat out doesn't mean that was corporate farmed. You actually have the choice to find out where your meat comes from and support the proper routes and venues. You're just generalizing and broad stroking because you ain't shit, Jack Talcott. And when I come out there to see Random Fan, I found out Esra is very close. She's a butch chick. I'm going to hunt you down. I'm going to have Esra put you in a hurt locker. I'm going to have Random Fan beating on you with sticks like a goblin, and I'm going to oversee the whole thing. Because you tried to use my dog's name as a deflection, and forever, if I see you in this life, I'll tell you to take your glasses off, and you better take them off when I tell you to.
What if your accusations are wrong?
Because I have those upholsteries, and I'm going to punch you in the face for it one day.
Well, you're assuming intentions.
No, it was all right there. I was getting on your heels for being wrong, and you brought up that screen and started to say something.
Again. I'm going to take a break again. We're not having adult conversations anymore. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the respect. Sincerely. I am a fan of Station 33 and the work of Illumid Tommy. But holy cows, guys. There I go with that holy cows thing. God, life has so much mystery. We don't pay attention to what's happening, we don't connect with others when we're caught up in our judgments and our beliefs. If you believe in the economic system, you're going to start worrying when you can't pay your bills. You're going to really be upset when someone takes some money from you, right? I went through that. It's not fun. But the reality is life continues. Life continues whether we have the resources that give us safety and comfort or not. Life continues whether we have the relationships or the success that we want. It doesn't matter. What matters is that life continues. And you can continue your life on your own thinking, I'm doing it all and they're all doing it wrong. I know that what God creates, in my eyes, it's perfection. God calls it good. You are good. We are good. At our core, we are good because love is good. Wisdom is good. Creativity is good. That's what you are. We all are. We are love and wisdom and creativity that is moving through the growth of life. And we're part of history. I brought up this election stuff because I heard someone else point out, and this was part of the reason I went ahead and participated. I like to be a part of things. I really do. God's given me an amazing story where it's documented that I'm a part of some pretty cool things in my mind. It was said that today's election may be the most important one in American history. Case could be made for that. Case could be made that every election is the most important one in history. Every choice is the most important one in the day. Because every choice we make through the day, whether we cognize it and we pay attention or not, every choice we make through today is going to change or continue our trajectory. You want to find stability in uncertainty? Surrender to the facts. Uncertainty is the norm. None of us know what we're doing. We're just doing the best we can. We're trying to figure it out. What is the right way to live? The way of Christ, the way of God. Joy, acceptance, grace, forgiveness. What is there to forgive if all you can do is appreciate? Right? And you can choose to appreciate the life you've been given. I didn't think I could. I was filled with depression. I was consumed with addiction. My life was miserable in the past. By God's grace, I pushed through it. I found the strength to humble myself and admit, I don't know. I don't know how to change. I don't know how to change what I'm doing. I don't know how to change what was. I don't know how to change. Those are the things I probably said to myself because I was afraid of changing. I didn't know who I'd be if I didn't have a drink. Holy shit. I knew I didn't like me unless I had a drink. I didn't like being me unless I had some drinks in me. Golly jeez. But my life is transformed. I'm reluctant to say what I hope because everyone is entitled to their own opinions. What I hope happens in my life is the facts will show that Jack struggled in the beginning, but he found his stride. He grew into a better man than he used to be. And the evidence shows, man. My prayer is that perhaps a saintly reputation can be created through me and you, that we may live as the saints of today. Because I know there's many of us. I've learned from so many amazing spiritual teachers, prophets. In the description of the video, I actually shared this video, another video from Sat Yoga Institute, Shunyamurti. His knowledge and his mind, to me, is beautiful. And here, in just a few moments, he explains consciousness and the unity and the topic, the logic and reasoning. What he describes is what I experienced. It was my logic and reasoning that brought me to the conclusion of non-duality. Unity is the path to live in wholeness with God, because God is the one from which all the multiple, all the divisions, all the possibilities come from. So we don't want to be just fractured and separated, controlled by our opinions, limited by our thoughts. No, that's the old ways of living. And what he talks about here is the transition that we are experiencing here at this time. Tommy, I'm going to continue without you, my friend. Okay. I love you, brother, but
we have reached the point when even science is coming to an agreement that consciousness is primary and that matter is actually an effect of an observation based on a desire to perceive something in the world. And that desire will turn a wave into a particle, for example. So it can.
So he's referring to the dual split experiment where the appearance of energy and light being both particle and wave, the distinction being the involvement of observance, consciousness, our minds, and the awareness actually has an effect on the physical reality in which we exist. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Desire will turn a wave into a particle, for example, so it can be perceived, right? The famous double slit experiment of quantum physics. But indeed, they have discovered that everything in the universe is entangled with everything else, quantum non-locality, etc. And many of the most avant-garde physicists are saying even space and time are not primary, but they are artifacts of consciousness, and that consciousness is actually all pervading, and we abide in an ocean of consciousness. And what is an apparent cosmos or universe of material objects are simply temporarily collapsed quantum wave functions that produce the appearance of objects that seem to have mass but don't really, but thanks to the Higgs field, they have that appearance. But everything ultimately comes from and returns to this ocean of light. And the world is frozen light, but everything that is temporarily frozen also thaws out and dissolves back into the ocean. So that ocean of consciousness, because it's all pervading and it assumes all of the forms of everything and every being in the universe, actually is our own essential nature. We are nothing but that ocean of intelligent, luminous consciousness.
And that ocean of luminous intelligent consciousness that we emerge from temporarily in order to experience the other forms of infinite illuminated consciousness, or whatever it was, that's what I call God, the source of it all, that which allows the paradigms of life to become. We truly are on this path of exploration through our mind, our heart, our experience. Here.
That's what we all are. Intelligence is our own essential nature. We are nothing but that ocean of intelligent, luminous consciousness. That's what we all are. There is nothing outside of it. There is nothing else than that. There is no multiplicity, because the multiplicity is actually the unity disguising itself as such for the purpose of play and for the purpose of presenting a cosmic drama in the last act of which the God self will be revealed. This is what the Christians call revelation and redemption, but it is present in every religious tradition and every spiritual lineage of teaching. But here it is elaborated in its most precise form, that each of us is not only a manifestation of an aspect of God, but we contain a holon in which the entirety is holographically contained in the particle of the point of.
Whoops. Where he's going is there, within the point of light of the awareness of self, within us, in our mind of light, right? The light of illumination that allows us to experience the moments and the experience of life. Within us all is the source of all creation. And if you still yourself, when you surrender your egoic pride and battles that I'm a human being, I'm a man, I'm an American, I'm a Republican, I'm a bullshit. You're an aspect of God sent here to the world. As Jesus was, you and I are. We are the light of consciousness and being and creativity and the vessels of the divine, or we play our little roles, being an American, being a Republican, being a Christian, being a victim. No, don't allow yourself to be defined by labels, by definitions. Each of us is an undiscovered, unrealized aspect of God. We can become one with creation, which is happening here and now. That breath is a gift. And that breath will move you. So pay attention to how you breathe. Be still. Rest in the Lord. Know that God is with you. Know that, and when you know that God is with you, you realize that it is only God that is. You are just an awareness of the aspect of life, of who you are. We're all stories in this light show, cosmic light show of energies forming into fields, into forms, into beings, into realizations. We are going through this time, what Shunyamurti was pointing at. We're going through this time of transition. It's a glorious time to be alive. We are so blessed to be alive at this time on earth because the miraculous is waiting to come forth. The evil has risen. The prideful, the arrogant, the evil has been emboldened. However, it's only because it's their act of desperation. It's what the ego inside will do with us all, too. It'll make us feel, oh my God, angry and worthless and filled with shame and all these excuses. I can't go on. It's the darkness inside. Let it go. Overcome the darkness within so you can see the goodness of God. That breath is a reminder of the goodness of God. God has faith in you and me. That's why we're here. That's what I tell myself. I lost faith in myself. Others lost faith in me. Trust was broken, irreplaceable. Jack, you're never gonna be forgiven. You're a failure, Jack. God is so awesome, man. God is everything to me. Without God, I am nothing. With God, who knows? God only knows what we might become.
Jack,
right?
I didn't realize you were transitioning.
Transitioning to what?
Well, I'd hate to think you started as a female. Either direction, I guess you're failing.
Well, I failed a lot of things.
You're
I
an
failed.
ugly trans woman, Jack.
Dude, I failed marriages. I failed as a
I
father.
know. We give you shit about it.
I'm not done, dude.
Ruining marriages?
I didn't ruin marriages. Well, I did ruin marriages.
Two of them, I'd say.
Huh?
I'd say you got two under your belt, and that's one more than Jesus would tell you to accomplish.
I know.
And you're not done?
I'm not living the life he lived. I'm living my life, the one God's given me.
No, see, that was Antichrist right there. And we went over this right to your face. Jesus said, deny your life and pick up that cross.
How is that?
I sat right here and showed you the thing. Now
Here,
ask your
hold on.
chat
Someone
if
else joined.
OTW is. He
Hold on. Welcome.
What's going on, Jack?
I'm truly feeling blessed today.
Well, I'm
despite-
feeling blessed as well, sir. I was coming over because I was in OTW's channel and he's restreaming you. And so I asked the chat if I should come over and tell you my arrest story from this morning. And they told me yes. So if you'd like to hear it, I could tell you all about it.
Is there a reason I'd want to?
I don't know. Do you know what I do for? Do you know what I do on YouTube?
I think you're one of the auditors.
Well, that's close. I don't like the title auditor. It's kind of like a label, but yeah, I mean, roughly speaking, you know, the rough definition, do I record cops and do I record government? Yes.
No, I haven't paid close attention. I understand you promote common law and you check some of the authority figures. So it sounds like you got arrested this morning. Did you learn anything?
Yes, I learned a tremendous amount this morning. What I learned is that if you record cops and then you enforce the fact that they shouldn't be violating somebody's rights, that they will retaliate against you. They'll look up your information to find out if you have a warrant. And then if you have a warrant out of another geographic area, that they're going to come and they're going to try to arrest you for that, which they told me that they would arrest me. And then they put me in the handcuffs. And then he said, you've got a warrant out of Taylor. And they asked me if I should go take care of it. And then I started pleading with him to please don't do that to his judge because I've already embarrassed him enough. And it's basically made the rounds on YouTube, like it in viral video after viral video of them being embarrassed like crazy in their court. So I'm begging and pleading with this guy to not do that to his poor judge. Don't do that to your poor judge. Do not put me in front of them.
All right.
And
Okay. Great. You answered the question, I think. Do you remember the question I asked? What you learned?
The question was what I learned, right?
Right.
And what
and
I learned.
So you learned one of the possibilities is when you try and enforce your right to record uniformed officers in the performance of their duty, it's very likely they're going to look into who the fuck you are. And if you've got warrants available in the public record, well, sure, they may take advantage of that fact because you're annoying them in the performance of their duties.
Well, that is a wonderful way to. Yeah, that's a wonderful way to sum it up, Jack. And I think you're onto something. Is that's exactly what they're doing out there? Is that they're retaliating because they don't like being recorded? Which is, I've always found that kind of odd.
Okay, great. Lots of people don't like things. Lots of things are happening in this world. I appreciate you joining so that you can talk about yourself. And I am sure OTW is very, go over and talk about Jack. Don't pay any attention to what he's talking about. Tell your story. Make it about you.
Oh, well, I thought you wanted to know because I asked you if you wanted to know about the arrest and then you asked me what I learned. So I was going to explain what I learned is that the cops are going to retaliate.
Why did you join?
What, the panel?
Talk about you. Because
to talk about the arrest this morning, and well, it could have been anybody that got arrested. So I don't try to come at this like from an egotistical standpoint like this.
I don't mean to be rude. Thank you for your explanations. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for answering my questions. Now, what I'm continually wondering is, what does God want us to do? So now that all that happened and you learned what you did, I mean, we can sit around and talk about it over and over and over, and I'm sure that many panels will.
Well, I didn't even get to the best part yet, Jack.
Well, please don't keep me waiting. I'm sorry I interrupted.
So the best part about this is they had me in the cuffs in the back of the car, in the back of the cop car, and then he tells me that these poor guys down in Taylor, Michigan, where my warrant is out of, they don't want me for the day. They said, no, just advise and release. So then the cop opens up the back door. He says, you can come out and I'll take the cuffs off you. And I told him no. Right. That was about the same look that he had when I told him no. The look of shock that you just had on your face, Jack, or the look of confusion. He was very confused when that happened. When I just said, no, I'm not getting out of the back of this cop car. He had to physically drag me out. And then I told him I'm not going to stop until he takes me to his supreme leader. And I don't think he liked that very much. And then after that, after all this is said and done, right? And I told him as soon as these cops come off, or as soon as these cuffs come off me, I'm hopping right back in your police car. And he had to physically prevent me from hopping right back in his car. And then he drove off, and then they were wondering why the hell did any of this ever have to happen? And I was wondering the same thing. And I kept trying to remind them that every time they arrest me, it just empowers me and it makes me grow stronger. And then I wanted to see if they had their body cams on, because at this time I wasn't recording. But
I think I heard the best part. Thanks for sharing. Feel free to go back to OTWs. You can continue the story there. Maybe you've already done it there. Thank you for sharing. What an obstinate child.
No, I'm not getting out of the back of the car. No, I'm not going away. Take me to your supreme leader.
What the fuck is that? I can understand the point of being defiant. I do understand this is a time for us to stand up for what is right. But going along to make other people's jobs more difficult, despite what your opinion is. Now, I didn't pay attention, and maybe it wasn't appropriate interaction. I don't know. I'm not judging. All I know is I am sick and tired of selfish, egoic people wanting to brag about the past, gonna tell everybody what's going on. Hello. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer either, but there's real wars happening today. Real millions and millions and millions of men and women today, right now, while we're just sitting around BS and they're fighting, praying for survival, praying for death. There's wars happening here on earth that are being funded by the political system, by the economic system. Brothers and sisters, what I'm sharing here is actually good news. When we start to give a shit about God, our life and our world is going to transform. I believe God's going to allow us to end the wars. I feel that in my heart of hearts, right? Because I found in my life experience, I found these organizations, men and women who have been fighting for this cause for years. Now, a lot of the men and women I've met in all of these different groups, whether it's all of these freedom groups, truther groups, religions, organizations, I'm finding a lot of people who've been working hard for a long time for these goals that are in my heart. People have been lacking the faith. By God's grace, I've been growing in my faith. My love of God is growing every day. And it's my prayer, it's my suspicion that one day, in the eyes of those who come into my life, my real life experience, particularly here in Spokane, my prayer is that one day I'll be seen as worthy in those eyes, because you see me through the eyes of God. You see the world through the eyes of God. Now, it's got the filters of your karmic past, right? There's filters on your mind and the way, and your mind is connected to your heart, your emotions, your spirit. It's all tied together. Here, we got a new guest here. Untrackable Team Podcast. welcome.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm truly feeling blessed. I don't think we've crossed paths before, but you were guided to click the link and join.
Yeah, it said have a conversation, and I kind of caught the back end of the previous, and then I heard you talk a bit, kind of like bring yourself back to center, and what's on your mind today?
I appreciate that. The thumbnail today is in observance of the tradition. Holy crap, I forgot. Mom, if you tune in today, happy birthday. God bless. I forgot to wish my mother a happy birthday. She's in the hospital recovering from a recent surgery too. So prayers to Mom for your speedy recovery. But what's on my mind today is the greater tradition of the election day. And there's a lot of people that are upset, a lot of people who are just fed up with it. But what's in my heart, that's what I was just talking about. This is a branding for Veterans for Peace. My story took me through the military, a couple voluntary enlistments as a kid. In 2018, I found God and love together, and I allowed it to transform me. My life transformed. And so now I pray, my goal is to find a way in front of Congress, the United States government, as a step to address the other UN and corporate leaders of today. I believe God is bringing forth the new world with us, and my prayer is to find a way. Let's end the fights. Let's end the fights in Congress. Let's be a voice of reason of today. They're people just like us. They're human beings. They're citizens of the land. They took oaths. I took oaths. I'm nothing like them, but we're just the same. And I want to speak to the men and women of Congress about what is honorable, what is true leadership look like, what is peace mean to the future. Because if the American Congress, they are the ones who have been delegated the authority to, spend the paychecks. They got the budget that's funding the genocide in Israel right now, funding the wall of defense, sending soldier after soldier into chaos to be killed over in Ukraine. We got the American government. Let's take control of our government in a peaceful way. That's what I'm talking about.
I think the most peaceful way to put the government in their place is to if you're a working individual, no matter what you do, keep doing it, because it will prove that they lose power, because we will survive no matter what. If communities do better for themselves, like, trust me, I live in a neighborhood. I live in a suburb. Everybody in their house does their own thing and looks over and be like, hey, I see you're mowing your lawn. Looks good. Thumbs up. Move on. We are not the communities of old. Whereas if we were, it still doesn't matter what the person next to you does. If you thrive, we all thrive. The homeowners association spends more money on paper for violations than they do providing for the community. We can do better for the person next to us. However, the people next to us is all we have at any given time, and we all leave to go and earn our wages other places. However, the voting, as it seemed to be sold to us, is voting for some sort of superficial control over everything, which will never be effective. Never.
Brother.
I'm sorry, and I'm a veteran as well, and I don't like what I see, but I'm never gonna quit. Hey, if I have to be an innocent bystander to watching somebody burn to death because they chose the wrong path, and that's not superficial. If you take your own road, please be aware of the consequences. If you obey the rules, guess what? You might wind up in the same consequences. It's all about your choices and if you're going to be okay with those choices. And I have a hard time with shit being shoved down my throat. So I can click a different button. But thank you for giving me a voice because that was a bit of a rant. And I tend to mind my own business most days. And that's how I come to these conclusions because I know when I fail, I know who I chose to answer to. And I know when I succeed, I know exactly who deserves the sharing and the caring, and that's life. So thank you.
Brother, I love what you said because I live in a homeowners association, a community where, yeah, it's all about the rules. And what I observed, every household of today were separated by budgets. That's what I heard you addressing to Team Podcast. We're actually connected to those who are with us, and that includes our neighbors, but we've lost connection. We don't really have communities anymore. We've got the appearance of community. We've got the appearance of safety with a strong military defense. But Team Podcast, I'm not sure where you're at on your spiritual growth development and your faith level, but I've learned to surrender to faith and trust and love. And there's a reason you clicked the link today. We cross paths, momentarily for reasons, but we're all a part of a greater history. So it's a pleasure to meet you, my friend. And yes, what you're saying, there is something to be said about continuing your path, regardless of, the destruction, and you see people destroying themselves around you. We can't get caught up in those problems, but anytime we can lend a hand, man, we help a neighbor solve a problem. There's less problems in the world. And we all face problems sometimes, and there's rules, there's laws to this creation that I've learned. Other people have been studying and teaching. The laws are simple. It's about giving. We're not here to take. We're not here to collect and gather and hoard and defend. We're here to give, to exchange, right? Because the universe rewards value. That which we put out into the world in our thoughts, our words, and especially our deeds, we're going to be judged for the life we live. And the way I can picture it, right, we'll get beyond the veil and we'll discuss with the higher levels, and we'll do like a life review. I've heard people talk about this in their near-death experiences, the life review. What did you do with what you were given? That simple. What did you do with what you were given? And how did you enjoy all that you received? Because I trust, man. If you got something to feedback, I can keep going on, but
No, I think that's like a good generalization of what did you give and what did you receive. Well, there's people out there that want to give their body and soul sometimes the people that don't deserve it. And that's okay. Because what they're going to receive is they're going to receive that, hey, they needed the help whether they asked for it or deserved it or not. I'm going to give myself, and what I'm going to get is I'm going to get it out of me, this feeling of, hey, they need it, whether they reject it or not. It doesn't matter. I'm always going to be there for them. And then you have those people that are going to party nonstop. And you know what? They're going to get, I'll go ahead and say it as an addict myself. You're going to get artificial feelings. You're going to get superficial touchings and ticklings and all that stuff, right? But at the same time that you're getting those good feelings, you may have surprised so many people of either, hey, I need to leave my shell and get exciting every once in a while. You know, that mimic, but don't replicate the rock star lifestyle. And then there will be those that'll be like, that's what abuse looks like. And I watched this person make their beautiful art and then wind up in an early grave. So, you know, art reflecting life, people doing what they do and influence how they influence. But, you know, ultimately it comes back to, what am I getting out of this? Because the person that's giving unwillingly to those that need it / don't deserve it, what they're getting is they're getting it out of them. Whereas on the other end, it's like, I'm not getting enough. How can I get more? But what I'm going to put out is what is going to be witnessed in the end. It's not a plus or minus. It's just, honestly, those extremes go for the center-minded to witness. Thank you.
It's all a flow. Life is a flow. It's a complete exchange, a constant exchange of so many different variables through our mind, our memories, our level of awareness, our physical genetic design. You know, our DNA carries different potentialities. We really are children of God, created of magnificent, glorious design. And the only way I found that I want to live the rest of my life is in an energy and a constant state of love. I walk with the knowing nowadays that God's perfection is constantly with me. It's up to me to align with it. And for myself, welcome again. I don't know how much you know about me, but my life took a spiritual path starting in 2018. And I resisted the biblical stuff for a long time. But in hindsight, what it is God allowed me to find the Holy Spirit with me. And then I studied looking for logical and reasoned explanations for what I was experiencing. And what I've come to know is the path that I took is available for us all. It's an intentional humbling ourselves to the infinite potentiality. We don't know what the future is going to bring to us, but our life is our opportunity to try. And you mentioned stepping out of the comfort zone a little bit, allowing yourself to grow in ways that we admire. That's the key to life, my friend. That's what I've learned.
There's something to be said there too, and that is, you know, coming from a youngster and the things that we are all taught commonly, right? But every step of the way, every year that goes by, everybody has their own choice of roads, so you won't wind up with the same that you started with. And when it comes to you and that last person that you're standing with, and there's two roads, which one of you is going to be the one to say, you go that way, I'll go this way. I'll see you again sometime.
That's what life brings us. We got to be
And
willing to.
the see you again sometime may never happen.
That's right.
But you have to have some sort of hope that, hey, I just sent him the same way I sent myself. And I'm holding my own hands from now on. But when you see him again, it doesn't matter what level you're on. I saw you again. You're making it. You're still here. You know, it's those others that left early. It's like, it was great. And you know what? We may cross paths, but will we recognize each other because this was the last road I took? Yeah. Thank you.
Our choices in life certainly change us. And through our lives, you're right. Our relationships are for me, I got separated from all my old relationships. I got separated from the old versions of me. I was no longer accepted where I used to be. And I had to, what I heard when you were talking about that, the paths splitting, it's what I had to do with my son, man. There was so much confusion going on with me. One of our last conversations I had with him when he was 15, I know God's got you. God's got me. I love you, my son.
Yeah, kind of like the idea where you're trying to teach somebody about the branches in the roads while you're still actively making decisions about which road you will go down. And at any fork, it could be you, kid. You could be the one that you know, this is where it goes. I either have to send you or you want to go. But one way or the other, there's a fork. And like I said, you have to be positive and think you're going to see somebody on the other side. It's not a guarantee, but that's just the way it goes.
Well, what I've come to humble myself is life is happening now. Every being I meet for quite a while now, I've been actually working to consciously grow this practice in myself. Every person I see is another aspect of me. There's someone I'm to learn from or to share with. So we cross paths for reasons. Life really is a mystery. And like this conversation, I don't know about you, but I'll reflect later and I'll hear or pick up, understand different things than we'll communicate right now. It's just how we work. But life is a mystery, and we are all in this life together. It's a glorious time to be alive. It really is, because in every problem is an opportunity. And our world is filled with problems, lots of darkness, lots of anger. It's an adventure. We don't know what the future is going to bring. We don't know who we're going to meet, what's going to happen. It's an amazing journey. Oh, the question, I didn't want to overlook that. Do you have a YouTube channel or social media you want to share, promote?
No, I have the YouTube channel that allows me to be on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. All right. Well, I sure appreciate you joining, brother. You've got,
Hey, no worries.
what's that?
I said no worries.
You've got a wonderful awareness. And brother, I trust the past has been creating us. I'm including me in this. We are here to lead the world into a greater future. We're all in our own little world, but we can grow and influence the greater world in our immediate communities. We can expand communities through the technology. We can connect worldwide right now. Why are
You know
we
what
at work?
problem I have with that is the influence. I think if people have a more straight line what you're thinking, millions of people, um, like, hey, I'm nobody special, but I'm talking to you and you have a channel and it's spreading to whoever who's listening. But if everybody, even faceless, even just in type, found a way to make it heard by so many people, it would mean so much more than coming on. I've been around the panelverse. Um, it's so much. It means so much more than arguing for time to talk, rather than just say your piece and then listen to others. And then when things come together, you balance. Hey, what is going through my head and what am I actually doing? Because I think that's how you become a better person. Not just talking shit, doing shit, being honest about what you do, and then being find a way to make other people understand why you believe what you believe is because you do what you believe in. And it can be different things. There's a lot of parts uh, that make a machine work. There's a lot of even the yin yang, the circle doesn't exist without the even separation and the understanding on both sides. But it becomes a perfect circle. The art of war, it works just the same way in love. So, people talk more to shut other people up rather than they do have an even line of this is your availability to say what you need to say and then also listen on the other side. So, thank you.
Communication, brother. It's our key. It's our key to learning. We got to learn how the first step to communication is learning how to communicate what's within with ourselves, communicating our feelings with ourselves, our thoughts, recognizing the thoughts don't control us. We can take over the thoughts. We can direct and influence. Self-mastery is the first key. Communication is easier when we're relaxed, when we feel safe. When we feel safe, we can speak from the heart, and it's the heart that reveals the truth. But we live in a world where people aren't present with their heart. They're in their minds and they're not listening. This is the way I used to live. And I'm growing in my ability to communicate. And brother, if I am correct about the evidence of my life that I believe, what God has been doing is allowing me time separated from the world, opportunities to learn, to grow, to experience. I've been online doing daily live streams a couple years now, I think. It's been a while. Holy cows. I've been learning how to have more fun in life, and I've been learning how to improve in my communication. Because if God will answer my prayers, what we're going to do is on this YouTube stuff, we're going to open up doors. We're going to get these messages and ideas on greater platforms. We're going to get a voice of reason into the corporate and government systems of today so that we can break free of the selfishness and greed of the monetary system. We're going to bring peace to the world. We're going to set the truth free. That's the key to God, is be humble to the truth. And we don't know the truth. Not yet.
But I would ask this, and I do agree that maybe ideally free sharing, no borders, protection of people by people, because there are certain places in the world where natural things just occur, and it's become paradises until there's an accident, right? Is I do not believe a system like that will occur without resistance, and that will be to create such a thing, hopefully for the future, right? Because you're looking, the pain now, the future later. I'm not saying it's not possible, but again, do we drag on these war after war after war after war, or do we do just one big war and tell everybody chill, bro? I'm sorry, it's just how it come out.
Hey, brother, I know what you're saying. It sounds unbelievable, but I trust this is the divine plan, that we overcome the resistance together. I really, in my mind, this is what I think God's doing. God gave us the example. Whoops, I think I froze. What I think the history shows is we've had the answers on how to live one another freely without kings and rulers and all of this. We've had the answers throughout time. God gave us messengers and examples to learn from. Jesus was the one who was perfected for us all on his own, allegedly. We are the same but different. And I think what God is going to have the future be, he is the one, but together as we unite our minds and hearts, where 2, 3 are gathered, there's the presence of God. It would make sense that in this new time for the new age, that mankind actually unites together as the body of Christ, and together we overcome the resistance. We overcome the temptation, the corruption. We lead the darkness into the light. We shine the light on the darkness, the corruption, the lies, the manipulation, the propaganda. It's happening online. The lies have been exposed. Now it's up to us to confront the systems that protect the lies. Make sense?
I think there will never not be darkness. They're reciprocal.
Sure. They all have a time and place. This video that I brought up, this guy Shunyamurti, he brings in a lot of the Eastern philosophies and the ancient ideas. He's talking in that video about the Kali Yuga and the other, maybe it's the Sa Yuga, but it's just like the calendar of change, the patterns of life, the rhythms and waves. Mankind descends and then we ascend to reunite with each other, with God, with wisdom. And so it's like, who knows how it all works? There's evidence on this earth of, structures, the pyramids and such. We don't know how those things were made. We don't know what they were made for. We got all these theories about the past, but there's evidence that there was civilizations before us, before Rome. And I think that the story of the Bible is true. We are the Babylon of today. But rather than
What does that
being,
mean?
we've fallen, we've descended, we've lost our ways. But I think it's the inversion. I think the story is the fallen will rise, right? And America has fallen. My life, I'm an example. I became a part of the American way. I was corrupted and making excuses. I was fucking miserable. I hated life. And then I surrendered.
Does that mean if we end all wars, there'll be another time of darkness after that?
The future is completely in God's hands.
Can I ask Jack, please, at what age would you say that you surrendered? It's just a question. I'll tell you mine if it's me yours.
There was many ages of surrender. I surrendered my alcoholism at the age of 2006. Holy shit, 43. And then I surrendered my old life at the beginning of 2018, so I was 45 then.
You're 51?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I
we
had
got the same. We have almost equal amounts of white in our beard, Jack. You look good for 51.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I had a moment when I was about 20. And I was like, it's either here or nowhere. And I chose here rather than nowhere. The path. I just picked one. And it was like, okay, I don't want to go nowhere, because nowhere sounds pretty bleak. But if you choose here, here is just the start of the path.
There.
Nowhere is nowhere. I didn't choose to be where I am now. I chose here as the start of the path. And there's a lot of forks along the way. I'm thankful that I chose here rather than nowhere.
Sometimes I go about in pity for myself, and all the while a great wind carries me across the sky.
It's all true. You learned that at 20? Holy cows. That practice. I choose to be here. I choose to be here rather than nowhere. And in our mind of chaos and confusion, we end up nowhere. We're spinning our wheels, telling ourselves we're surviving, that we're safe, that we're comfortable. We find distractions and entertainment to give us the illusion of happiness.
Well, I'm on your panel now. I'm not watching it 4 months later, thinking I've got a big opinion on what happened today, 4 months beforehand. No, I'm right here.
Yeah?
I'm now.
Now is where
me too.
That's it. Life begins now, over and over and over. Every breath starts a new life if you allow it. And the ways of the world has us all caught up in this celebrity and opinion and chaos and all this nonsense. The world focuses on the past and memories. That's the life I used to live. Maybe others are different, but many live in the past and their memories. But what I've been practicing is surrender. I don't need to remember shit. I'll either remember it or I won't. And I won't know if I know it. I won't know if I remember it until it's relevant. God will guide me. God has prepared me, prepared all of us with the knowing that we need to know. What we choose to remember, what we choose to think about, that's on, well, that's between us and karma, maybe.
I heard it's your tomorrow.
It's your tomorrow. It is. It's all of our tomorrow. What
Yeah,
are
but
we?
only you wake up as you.
I used to think that was a curse. Fuck. I did not want to be me because I didn't like where I was. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like how I was. And I wasn't brave enough to admit it. I was in denial, living a lie, part of this so-called American dream. It's a bunch of bullshit. The American dream is you obey the rules, you do what you're told, and you file all the right forms, and you be on time, and you'll stay out of trouble. Bullshit. I'm evidence.
They call it a dream because you gotta be asleep to believe it.
Amen. And from my experience, you do not know you are dreaming until you awaken.
Yeah.
Seek to awaken. Those words were actually part of my conscious change. I heard someone, I'd gone on a blind date and I was honest with the lady, and she seemed offended by my honesty. And I was talking to some friends. I was just made a comment about, God, people do not like the truth, do they? And one of the guys there, he says, "Ah, it sounds like you're waking up." It was like later that day or a couple days later, I had this fucking shift. My mind transformed. And I never saw life the same again. And I've been trying to figure out, how do I explain it? How do I explain what I don't understand? I'm starting to understand. All of this life is God. Let's not take it for granted. God is with us. Truth is on our side. I have watched hours and hours and hours of evidence that shows the corruption of governments, politics, economics, Hollywood, the food industry, medical industry, the education industry. All of these systems are broken because of the one world religion of money. The world has been taught to limit their lives based on how much money they can find. I used to do that. We're selling ourselves short. We're not here to earn a paycheck. We're not here to earn approval. We're here to serve the world with whatever ways we can. And that's what I'm hoping to do here, genuinely. These live streams, I'm honest about my hope. I hope people find some encouragement, some inspiration for themselves, and we raise the energies of this world together.
You remember that book, Animal Farm?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay, so the animals, they weren't liking the way they were being treated, so they overrun the farm, and then winds up being the pigs sitting upright at the dinner table telling all the other animals what to do. In a nutshell. But at the same time, look at yourself, look where you are, look at the people around you, look at the services you're provided. Every single one of us, we're just a part of the farm.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if you're not sitting at the table, which good luck getting there. You're just part of the farm. And are you going to produce in some way, shape, or form? It doesn't matter if you're a master at your craft or you pumped out a bunch of kids. or both, because that means those kids will probably rise to the top. And the other words, yeah, hey, we have a military. So it kind of becomes like honesty in the storytelling when it's like, okay, the pigs got to the top, and yeah, we can have this raw constitution, and we can have these interpretable things, but you let the pigs sit at the table and they'll eat anything, and they don't care what you put out, they're going to eat it.
Brother, that's true. Here's what you mentioned, though, the idea of the table. This is something I learned as a labor guy, a union man. And I take it beyond just the workforce into the society, into our communities. I believe it's up to every single one of us, workers and citizens, people of the land. It's time for us to start inviting ourselves to the table of how these businesses are run, how the job is performed, how the community is administered, how the government is being run. It's up to us to become more involved and to start taking control of whatever we can. And sorry, it's not so much taking control as what influence can we bring. My goal in my community, I've been trying to find ways to communicate with other organizations, communicate and coordinate with other organizations, churches, groups. And I've been trying to have conversations with the sheriff, with the city council, with the state, federal government. I haven't pursued the state much in a while. But I think it's time for, well, the future, brothers and sisters, all time is offered forth by God, through God, for us. All of the past was for us to learn. All of the future is for us to imagine and create. And what we do each day, man, what you were talking about, my brother, our choices and our paths take us different directions. But I have faith that God is moving this world into much better ways. It's up to us, though. How long are we going to continue making excuses? How long are we going to continue finding blame? Because when we blame the government saying, you're failing, when we blame the cops, we're not seeing ourselves connected. And if we can help each other solve problems, man, I don't think the cops actually want such a dangerous job. I don't think maybe, I think there's a lot of jobs that we can evaluate together as communities. How do we want these jobs to be performed in our communities? We can stop letting corporations come into our communities, fouling up polluting the environment, putting chemicals in the community, in the waters. Why? Because they own the land. Bunch of nonsense, man. Sorry, I took us way off on that one, didn't I? Hey, my brother, I have been enjoying this, but I'm feeling like maybe I should wrap it up pretty soon.
Hey, that's okay. Thank you for having me. And if I get a chance to talk to you again, that'll be cool.
I hope so. And you're welcome too. If you have interest and curiosity in some of the things you heard me say, I invite you in the description as the other ways. Leave a comment or whatever. We can connect and talk anytime. And if you catch another live, you are welcome back here, my friend. I've enjoyed you.
Well, thank you, and have a good evening. I'll bow out now.
All right. Blessings, brother. And out of respect of the man's patience, I know he's probably just been using this time to build up lots of ammo, but Tommy, I don't want to disrespect you.
Only inadvertently, Mr. Talcott.
I do as I feel is best for my
Right.
purpose.
You go off your feels and your heart and your mind, and I showed you to your face God never said to go off those things. But Jack, it's easy. I've simply passed the time by watching my own stream and some stock stuff while listening to you go on the ramblings of what I like to call the dollar store bear independent that's more commonly known over at Gen X Jeff's loop. And I like Gen X Jeff
I
compared
do
to
too.
you. I
Yeah,
think
yes,
just if you want to talk balance and fairness and karma, well, you'll sit in my backstage for an hour and 40 minutes before I ever up you again.
Hey, you know what? You're blaming me for what I
I
chose to
am,
do. What I chose to do was based largely on what you brought to me.
which was truth that triggers you.
No,
Now, you know how I'm really disappointed?
Tom.
You're usually the guy that can strategically drop people in for your needs. I was raring to go in on BSBT. Boy, I was ready for it. I cammed up. I was like, Jack, drop me in on this fool.
I
Drop me in on this
appreciate it,
fool. I'll go in on
Tom.
BSBT.
I know, and I did not mean to.
Now, the next time OTW is, ask your chat, is OTW still restreaming you?
Whoops, sorry. It doesn't matter, and I didn't mean to be rude. I inadvertently clicked the button, but I'm going to roll with it, Tom. I appreciate it, and I meant no offense. I trust. Had you been given the opportunity, you would have shined. I realize that you've got a great talent for putting people in their place and offering forth corrections of everything you see, and I honor you. Brothers and sisters, I honor you, all of you who've been part of this live stream, whether you click the link or not. We had some fun conversations, I think. I do encourage you, if you find yourself with some spiritual curiosity, you're willing to listen to ideas of, a little intellectual, but some real concepts that might allow you to push your mind beyond the limitations of what you think is real. All of us have these paradigms within us. It's based on our past. Karma is real. The path of life, it unfolds perfectly. There's a perfect order to creation, to life. There's a perfect order to you, to time. So align you with the perfection of time so that you may rest in the Lord. Because I hope that you can find my words to be true. I hope you can find love in your days so that you find stability in uncertainty. The only thing that prevents the only thing that prevents our comfort and our peace is the chaos that we will find in our mind. The mind and the memories and the opinions of what the world has shown. That's where we find our disruption. So, brothers and sisters, I encourage you, whoops, don't allow your opinions, your judgment, your negativity, don't allow that to become you. Become the light of God, become the light of good. Give yourself permission to surrender to the unlimited potentiality of what you do not know, because we don't know the future. We only know bits of the past and bits of the present. But brothers and sisters, I love this present day with you, and I sincerely hope, if you've not subscribed yet, that you will, and if you haven't invited others, that you might. But whatever the future brings, brothers and sisters, do it with love, with you, for you, through you. It's the only way. Well, there's many ways. You can live however you want. But what I choose to do is to be me. And the way I love being me is bringing me to love love life, the life you've been given. No others have been given that chance. So see what you can do to shine with the talents and opportunities you've received. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone. God bless. Live without fear. Peace.